Today I want to cover the CR56 Amax. So for these videos, I want to cover a brief history, I want to cover the damage and performance, and lastly, we'll hop into my overall opinion of this weapon. So for the most part, the history that I'll be covering for weapons is going to do more with their name, and I'll usually dive into a bit more of the actual history of these weapons if I find anything interesting. This is a really good article. I'll actually link this below so you can check it out yourself. They basically just cover 10 weapons in Modern Warfare where the name is not the actual name. So this is kind of interesting thing that they say here in the article. While many weapons are called by their real-life names, such as the classic MP5, some are not. This is likely a product of licensing issues, as it is often expensive to acquire the rights to use some iconic guns. The CR56 Amax is the Galil. The CR56 Amax was added to Modern Warfare during Season 4. After some updates, it became a popular gun in Warzone due to its reliability. Now, it's exactly what I'm finding. Even still, I'll see there's some guys that I watch that use this exact gun with different attachments than myself. When it's set up correctly, and that's the main thing, when it's set up correctly, it offers nice DPS and little recoil, and that's exactly what I'm noticing right now. Taking off that 45 round mag and putting on that rear grip, I'm just finding it makes a world of a difference. I know a lot of people have been struggling with this exact gun as far as consistent recoil. I feel like I figured it out as far as build for me. So hopping into the damage numbers, headshots a 56, a chest shot is a 42, and stomach extremities is a 35. This is always within reference to a full shielded and full health player, meaning he has full 250 HP. So hopping into my actual build here. So ammunitions, this is a super common that people run a 45 round mag, and I totally get that. But the things that I tried differently here were, I believe it was within here. So nobody typically throws a rear grip on here from what I understand. So I tried two different ones in here. I tried the granulated wrap and then the rubberized wrap. I found that this one, if you look at the accuracy, obviously it's a bit better. And then I tried a few different ones in here, but I just found that Ranger for the total recoil control, that being the main one, was just far more effective. And especially with the 30 round mag, the only difference with the 30 and the 45, obviously between the 15 bullet capacity, is the fact that if you're going to have less bullets in your gun, you want to make sure that you're going to be able to hit your shots easier. So if you take this off and you throw on your 45 round mag, the one thing you're going to notice is like, yeah, you might have more bullets, but you're probably going to miss more bullets. There's just so much bounce in this gun at longer ranges. So throwing this on and getting rid of that 45, I just found that there's a lot less bounce and it just hits those shots so much more clean. So if you've used the Amax at all, you kind of have a pretty good idea what the attachments are going to do for the recoil. They're really just going to bring the recoil down, right? Because the Amax tends to just go up and kind of bounce. As it's going up, it kind of bounces within that as well. So that's why it's kind of frustrating to use. But you'll notice I'm going to refer to everything as far as controller gameplay, but you can compare it to mouse and keyboard as well if you're using that mouse and aiming with that mouse. The reason why I find it actually pretty easy to use is because you're really just pulling down. You're just counter pulling on that right stick, right? So even if you're following a left to right target, as long as you're pulling down a little bit, you can adjust and keep following that target. All you got to do is keep pulling down on that right stick, and you're going to notice it's going to solve a lot of issues with that recoil. So I have one specific clip I'm going to show you guys where it's about 60 meters out, 61 meters out to be exact. And I'm going to zoom in nice and tight on the reticle so you can see the bouncing. And I'm kind of like driving this home, but I'm really only pulling down on that stick a little bit. It's not a whole lot. And it's just, you're going to see, if you just aim chest, you pull down on that stick, it's going to go head, chest, and the damage is going to be a lot higher if you're aiming for that chest and the head. Letting it bounce is actually a very, very important thing. So it's not a huge issue. So we'll just check this clip out right here.
Found him. He ripped me though.
Broke. Yeah, there we go. Eliminated. Dude, Amax right now is killing it for me. So here's my build done with true game data. There is a downside for sure, and this is why you'll probably see in some of my clips. I'm actually running the Mac as a secondary because you literally feel like you're just you get handcuffed. Like if a guy gets up close on you, you're gonna see right here the hip fire spread is increased by 68%, which is a serious issue. So you'll see the ADS, boom, ADS added 25 milliseconds, ADS added 54 milliseconds, ADS added 21 milliseconds, ADS added 6. You get the point. So if we scroll down to the bottom here, you're going to see what all the attachments do and the effect that it has, you know, just like it did with the FFAR. But then you come over to the right side here, and the ADS, It's kind of rough. It actually goes from 279 milliseconds, and it basically not quite doubles, but 462 milliseconds. Like that's crazy. And then you go from moving from 2.34 meters per second to 1.9 meters per second. So if you're looking down that sight at range, that's actually very helpful. If you're aiming down sight, movement is very slow. It's going to help you quite a bit, actually. One of the other high points of this build is going from 587 meters per second to 958 meters per second for the bullet velocity, which is very, very good for long range damage. And then your range here as well, that's going to be great for long range damage, increase of 45%. So there's a lot to consider here as far as making this gun effective, medium to long range, but just know up close, this 462 millisecond and 1.9 meters per second to do with ADS, aiming down sights, is really going to cause a lot of problems up close. But at this point of the video, as we hop into my opinion, I think that this weapon is fantastic at medium to long range. Like very, very good when you have these right attachments on here to control that recoil if your aim is mediocre. I've seen guys control this gun incredibly with that 45 round mag, so if you can control it with the 45 round mag, use it for sure. But up close, it just lacks so much, and you'd have to take that 3x scope up there, and you'd probably use the iron sights for it to be even usable up close. That would be my personal opinion on this weapon. If you're able to figure it out up close and long range, and you have a build, honestly, let me know. But this is the build I find that's most effective at long range, which lacks heavily up close.